Hey friends, welcome to One Letter Coder. In this video, we're going to see some highlights from the recently published Stack Overflow Developer Survey results. So Stack Overflow does a survey every year and they would publish results of this survey and highlights. So if you just are interested in the highlights, you can actually look for highlights from their latest blog post that was published on May 27th. But we are going to slightly dive deeper into certain aspects of important things that an aspiring or a programmer would look for. Especially in this video, I'm planning to cover things that would help someone who is looking for a job or someone who is just starting their career in programming. So the kind of things that I'm going to go over is going to be especially catering to this particular segment of programmers, coders, but anyone can actually use this thing. So there are a few things that you would see on top of this thing. So you would see that Rust is still the most loved language, and Python was in the second position early, but right now TypeScript overtook Python and became the second most loved language, and Python is the third. So I'm going to skip all these things and we'll just directly dive deep into the things that we wanted to see. The first thing that I'm very interested is in technology. Most popular technologies, you can actually see that still JavaScript is one of the most popular technologies. It could be also possible because of the base number that you have got. You need a lot of web developers in this world than you need probably the number of DevOps person. So it could be because of that base number, but yeah, still JavaScript, HTML, CSS, SQL, to your surprise, is there on the top. Which may not surprise entirely because SQL is still the bread and butter of a lot of data scientists and data analysts, data engineers. Anything you say data, you need SQL, some form of SQL. Python is there on the top. Java, which is usually made fun of for its syntaxes and things, it is also still on the top. So you can see this is the case with all developers, but if you actually see professional developers, you still do not see a lot of changes. So this is something that is kind of there available for everyone. So if you are a new programmer who tries to if you are an aspiring coder, or if you have not entered the professional field of programming, so this has some information which you can just pick it up. So that's one thing. The next thing is most loved and dreaded technology, programming language, Rust. Just like we just saw, for a lot of people who do not know, Rust is a programming language, open source programming language by Firefox, I think. Let's just say Mozilla. Sorry, Firefox is the company name. It's from Mozilla. So Rust has got a decent developer community. So if you want to get started, should get started. You can see that they're miles ahead the second and third languages. TypeScript, again, if you are into web development, you would definitely start using TypeScript. Python is their most loved. Definitely, I'm a big fan of Python. I'm a Python coder, so Python is definitely there on top. Kotlin, you also know that a lot of Android developers are moving to Kotlin from Java, and then you have got Go, which is also from Google open source language. Another thing is, if you are from data science background, you would know that there is a language called Julia, which is trying to solve this two language problem where you have you write code in one language like R or Python to prototype something, and then you make it in production using another language like C or C++. So Julia's mission is to solve this two language problem. So it's actually interesting to see Julia on top. We don't know what is a total count of developers who voted this thing, but Julia is a very small community of developers using Julia, but you can see that Julia has hit the top 6 probably, overcoming a lot of other languages, programming languages. And dreaded, as usual, you see VBA, Objective-C, Perl. Perl, as much as it receives criticism, it does a lot of jobs very well. So these are the languages programmers hate, but the fact is that these languages can still get a lot of things done for you. For example, there are still a lot of indie developers using PHP and Laravel framework. If you do not know Laravel, just look for Laravel. So a lot of people still use these frameworks and get their MVP or product out in the market. So you can go to Product Hunt and see a lot of products get launched using Laravel even these days. So PHP is still much alive. Ruby, once again, easy for you to develop anything for web, deploy it soon, and Yeah, so that is how a lot of these languages are. So yeah, don't go much into the languages that you have to pick up just based on this thing. So look at your objective, what you want to do. So if you want to let's say develop a web application, you can develop definitely pick up anything, even vanilla JavaScript, or you can go with frameworks, or even in fact PHP for that matter. So that's all done. So top paying technologies, you can see that Perl, Scala. So Scala is one important thing in this list. For example, you do not see Scala in a lot of places actually, but Scala is again heavily used in a data engineering setup, or the so-called big data. And you know that the base language for Apache Spark is Scala. So even though you have got different bindings like R binding, Python binding, Java binding, all these things are available, Scala is the core language for it. So Scala has got its own niche crowd, and that heavily does a lot of heavy lifting of data engineering, big data stuff. So Scala is definitely on the top. So you saw Perl on the most dreaded, and still Perl gets you a lot paid. Same goes with Ruby. Lot of indie developers, freelancers still use Ruby to develop and deploy a lot of stuff. Goes there on the top. You can see Python and Julia are also almost in the similar situation, where all these languages, there are not much differences, but it's all matter of $2,000 and $3,000 but you know the fact, as a matter of fact, these things matter a lot when you are actually in a country where you get paid like this. Like I'm from India, and then these salaries do not even matter to us because we don't get paid anywhere closer to this. So that's a side note. And this correlated technologies would help you for you to understand an entire ecosystem. So for example, let's say tomorrow you set out to learn one thing. Let's say you want to learn Ruby. So you would know that it doesn't matter to learn Ruby alone, because you need Ruby on Rails ROR for making your web development workflow easily. So the same way, let's say you decide to learn Python, then you need to know what other things I need to learn around Python that would help me improve my Python skills or make me more employable. So that's where this thing really helps. So you should definitely look at it. So the other important aspect is how frequent developers actually learn new things. So you can see that developers learn every few months. They try to learn every few months, almost 37%, once a year at least 36%, and you can see professional developers at least once a year, once a few years, once a decade is very less, once a few years is all very less. So a lot of people who get into programming, they think that oh no, I'm going to burn out, or this is learning fatigue, I'm going to I have to learn a lot of video tutorials. There is some change every day in my field, especially if you take my personal field, where you have got data analytics, data science. So every day there is some new package, new library where you have got to learn something. So this is a problem for everyone, but the fact is that is how life is. So if you are a developer, you have got to learn every few months, and that's what professional developers do. And you can see the stats here. So you are not alone. So that's how the world is. So that's what you have to do. And you can also see what are the different ways people actually learn. That's another thing that you can look at. We are jumping straight into what people actually look in their job. So if you actually see what are things that people actually look when they are looking for a job, which is the most important thing is better compensation. Of course, a lot of people actually switch companies because they can make more money than they can get in their existing company. So imagine your existing company could give you 10% or 15% hike, but a new job can give you easily 25%, 30%, or depending upon the market that you belong to. So that's the most important reason. And then wanting to work with new technology just to explore new career opportunities. A lot of people become product managers or program managers from coding background, so this is another thing. And a lot of people switch to get into some leadership role from IC. In your current organization, you could only probably become like IC, so maybe you are SDE2, software development engineer 2, you can become software development engineer 3, but a new role could offer you potentially a software lead role. So that's another thing. And another most important thing is better work-life balance. So again, this is one aspect that you should get to know if you're starting your career, to see what kind of values or what kind of things people actually look for in a job hunt. So you can optimize your job hunt accordingly. So the next thing is job priorities. Oh, sorry, I wanted to also cover where did you learn about, or what did you learn about that company, how did you learn about the company. So this is another important thing that a lot of freshers actually leave out. They just simply let's say maximum go to Quora and then learn about that company, and then they just go by that word. So that's not how you usually should do. So Glassdoor reviews are really good. There are a lot of complaints like how Amazon reviews have been manipulated. The same way, there are a lot of complaints that a lot of companies actually pay people to write Glassdoor reviews. You cannot do anything about it, but at least this should give you some idea about the company's culture and all those things. And yeah, the next most important thing is read companies blogs, read companies culture related thing, because you're going to work in a place. It's not like it's not like a bus where you hop on and hop out. So it's a place you're going to live for quite some time, even if it is matter of 1 year or 2 years. So you need to know about their culture, how you fit into their culture, or the same way company tries to do a cultural fit round with you, so you should also do a cultural fit with that company rather than just simply nodding your head for everything. So yeah, these are some other information. And a lot of other thing that people do not actually do is read media articles or crunch based kind of information for you. For example, let's say you are in India and you want to join a startup. Do not just simply go by what the startup founders have been saying, because everyone wants to make the world a better place, just like how everyone has been saying all the while, right? So everyone's mission is make the world a better place. That is not enough for you to get a job, stay in a job. So you should see what is the company's financial, what seed round they've raised, are they bootstrapped, are they getting a venture capitalist fund, and who is that venture capital, what is their values, will this company sustain, what is their founder's vision, do they have this habit of raising fund, checking out this company to someone else, or hiring and firing. So you need to know all these things. So this is very important, especially if you are especially given the current situation of COVID situation. If you are looking for a new job, you need to definitely look into the company's financial information publicly available. And there is no harm in even asking your HR or whoever is contacting you. So let's say if you're in the middle of an interview and you want to know about the company's financial roadmap or product roadmap, you should definitely ask them about it, because if the company is not ready to share this with you, probably it's not the right place for you to work. So yeah, that's the thing. So the next important thing that I wanted to cover is job priorities. So one important aspect with respect to this is how men and women think actually. So if you see, for men, the most important thing is languages, frameworks, technology. For women, the most important thing is office environment and culture. So this is especially important if you're a lead, if you're trying to optimize your team for more inclusion. So you should pay some attention to this thing. But rest of the thing is mostly similar. So people generally look for technology, then people also look for company culture, the flexibility that offers that this job offers, the opportunities for professional development, remote work option. I think all of us are almost remote these days. So yeah, that's these are a few things that people actually look for when they look for new job priorities. And the final part, just like I mentioned, yeah, this part, which is the salary part, matters only if you're in a country that pays you in the same scale. This doesn't matter, or this is not relevant in a lot of developing countries. So I'm posting this video from India, so it doesn't definitely matter in my country. But yeah, so if you are in such a country, or if you are negotiating for a remote job, this should be like your benchmark for you to have some understanding. Also, please keep in mind that your base number could vary. So you may not have as number of engineering managers answering this question as much as let's say a front-end developer must have answered. So the standard deviation for this could be really large. The standard deviation for this could be really low. So it would have been wiser if Stack Overflow actually had made a box plot for this also, so you could see the variability of it. So again, this is not something that you have to blindly look at and then make a decision, but this gives you a good intuition. Let's say you want to do masters in the US, so this can tell you how soon you can pay off your debt. So you can use this for things like that. One important aspect that I wanted to show you in this is comparison with last year. So if you see, so one big upgrade in this developer survey is that how dark they have gone with this theme. But let's see, where is the money part, salary. So if you see salary, you could actually see how salary has changed or salary has dropped. If you see DevOps specialist, 71k last year, and this year it is 68k. You can actually see a lot of salaries coming down. Probably this is the way the world is correcting. And to give you a sense, this survey was done pre-COVID world, so post-COVID world would look worse than before. So it's important for you to have a look at this thing. Another thing is the top paying technology section. So how different it is from the previous year. Let's go top paying technologies. Top paying technologies, you can see last year it was Clojure, F#, Go, Scala, Elixir, Ruby, WebAssembly. So this year you see Perl, which was where was it? Perl was not even in the list, and this year Perl is there. And a lot of people actually also ask the question, where is Clojure in this? So Clojure is not mentioned in this list. We don't know what was the scene behind that, but yeah, that is the case. So this can also give you some understanding about how things have changed from last year to this year. For example, last year you would see Python was around $63,000, and this year Python is around $59,000, and the gap between Python and Julia is not at all different. And last year you wouldn't see Julia at all. So this comparison with the last year and this year would also give you better intuition about, let's say you are in one technology for like quite some time, and then you want to pivot to a new technology, and you want to go to that technology purely in the basis of how much it can fetch you at the end of every month. So if that is your concern, you should pay some attention to this part. Other than that, everything else is mostly self-explanatory, and you can jump into the section that you like. I'll link these two links in the description. And yeah, I hope this video was quite helpful for you, especially if you're a new developer, or especially if you're trying to get a new break in your career, pivot your career. I hope this video was helpful to you, and if you have any comments, please let me know in the comment section. Until next video, see you.